Everybody doing?
Hello.
Hey. All right. Obviously disappointed in not being able to get the victory down in New Orleans this past weekend. Thought we faced a very good Tulane team. You know, when you look back at the game, and I've watched it multiple times and watched it with both sides of the ball and special teams. You know, you look at the things that we did well, and I thought we did start the game very well. Thought we played very well in the first quarter. I thought that as the game went on, there's half a dozen plays where Tulane made a play and we did not. You know, one way or the other. And I thought those plays, combined with a couple of mistakes that we made that Tulane did not, ended up in them winning what was a highly contested game. And certainly congratulations to Coach Fritz and Tulane moving on to 5-1. They've got a good football team, just like we thought. And we've got to be better in all phases of the game, and got to improve from our performance last weekend. And the one thing I do know is we have a very motivated group. We have a motivated group of coaches. We have a motivated team. We had a good workout on Sunday evening. We've had productive, both players and coaches, things over the last day and a half since then. I expect us to have a really good practice this afternoon. I expect the Pirates to play well this coming Saturday. Excited to be back at home. Should be a great atmosphere, 7:30 kickoff, homecoming. You're going to have, a lot of people back here for the Hall of Fame induction and Marcus Crandall going in, and just a lot of excitement around the game, and it's two really good football teams. Obviously, Memphis is coming off of a tough loss to Houston last Friday night. I was able to watch most of that game after we finished up our meetings. So, we've got two teams that are, really good teams that matched up this weekend. Should be a great game. We'll be ready to go. So, questions?
Coach, you guys are at a point where those handful of plays are going to dictate who wins a game, going forward. So, how do you guys address it as a coaching staff? Do y'all overemphasize it, or try not to put too much pressure on those plays? How do you address that when you sit down with your staff and the players?
Well, the one thing I know is, the kids, they want to be successful. And so I do think you address each situation. A lot of times it's things that they know, so you just try to coach up how to play the ball better, whether it's offensively or defensively, or you coach up a decision, no matter who it is making it, how we can better make that decision. We're always looking at how we can do things better as coaches. And at the end of the day, it's a game played in real time, and it's somebody's going to make the play, somebody's not, and so you just try to do the best job you can of addressing it, and I think you do. I think you very directly address it and try to coach it and try to improve on it.
Maybe we can talk about decision making. I think sort of answers it. But have you been able to put your finger on or diagnose maybe the disconnect of having a lot of talent on offense versus just having some struggles in some certain games?
Well, I think that the opponent and how they're defending you has a lot to do with it, and then I think rhythm and sync has a lot to do with it. Everybody being on the same page has a lot to do with it. For example, South Florida got up there and decided they wanted to play us press man on the line of scrimmage, and we were able to hit some deep balls on them, and we connected, and we won the 50-50 balls. This past weekend, Tulane defended us completely different. And I think after probably the middle of the second quarter on, we just, we were able to drive the ball pretty well till you got down to around the 30-yard line, and we just did not make the plays that you have to make. You got to score points. And conversely, on the other side, we did give up a few plays to Tulane. And so I think that's where it goes into just we've got to improve our execution. We've got to improve everybody being on the same page. Everybody in this conference has a lot of talent. Tulane had a lot of talent on defense. Tulane had a lot of talent on offense. Memphis this weekend, they've got a lot of talent on both sides. We all have a lot of talent. So it comes down to who can execute the best, who can play together the best. That's really the big one. The better team is going to win on game day. And so it's, striving to try to get a group of individuals to play together and be the best team on game day each Saturday.
Coach, what's the running back room look like right now as far as the health goes? I mean, Warren got banged up a little bit, didn't play in the fourth quarter, but and Keith has been a little banged up. But how's the whole running back room?
I think pretty good. I mean, we've got bumps and bruises everywhere. I mean, that's, everybody does. I promise you Memphis does too. And so that's why we're fortunate to have a great athletic training staff. And they're doing a great job with the kids as far as taking care of their bodies and improving each day. And then, the goal is to have everybody ready to go on game day.
Coach, watching the game live, there were times nobody was open initially. Holden would break the pocket, and there were some guys working back to him, other guys maybe not working back on the scramble drill. Is that something y'all can emphasize coming out of this game?
Well, certainly the scramble drill is something we work each week, and it's a very choreographed kind of deal. And I agree with you. I don't think we did a great job with it at times last Saturday. Why we didn't last Saturday, that's the questions you ask when you're watching the film. And it's certainly something you emphasize. For example, we do pass scale good on good every Tuesday and every Wednesday in practice. And the thing I encourage the quarterbacks to do is, don't sit back there because, you don't have an offensive line, defensive line in those settings. After a certain beat, you need to scramble. And Coach Kirkpatrick encourages them to scramble because, we work the drill against air, okay? But, and that's fine. You work it against air so they know where to go. But then the best work is when you're going against the defense because you're reacting to another body. We just got to continue to do a better job of taking that to the field. We've obviously had some huge plays in the scramble drill throughout the season so far. So, to me, it comes down to more just a focus deal in the ball game.
You were talking about that game last Friday. Memphis kind of fell apart in the fourth quarter. What did you see from them late that you thought, hey, we could definitely copy Houston and try and exploit some things? I guess what did you see from Memphis?
Well, I think it was not as much what I saw from Memphis as what I saw from Houston. You had a huge kickoff return for a touchdown that started the whole thing and kind of energized Houston. And then you had, they started playing better defensively. They were able to get some stops. Houston was able to score. They were able to get an onside kick. And, the combination of the scoring drive, onside kick, you're right back out on defense, Memphis. Houston was able to drive down, pretty easily for the game-winning touchdown and extra point with seconds left on the clock. So, to me, it was more, Houston really got going. The kickoff return kind of ignited the comeback, and then I do think that Memphis got tired defensively there late in the game.
Some uncharacteristic penalties for you guys, unsportsmanlike, that ended up resulting in points for them. Uncharacteristic interceptions in the end zone. Was there something to that, or is it just what happened in the game?
Well, there's obviously something to it, and it is uncharacteristic because it's something that we've worked very hard to eliminate from our program, and we have not had an issue with that. And we talk about it each week, and it's, we want to play with emotion, we want to play with intensity, but we don't want our emotions to control us. And we had a player that made a poor decision post-whistle on a critical third down that we had gotten a stop there in the first quarter that gave Tulane a first and goal inside the 5. And it's a mistake that, that player wishes they had back. They are remorseful for it. But, once it happens, and it's a heat of the moment thing. It's not something that can be tolerated, and it's not something that our team wants. So, it's something that we've got to continue to focus on, and it's something that I talk about each week. And I know there's certain things that I hammer each week that sometimes, the kids, they don't register how important it is until something like that happens. Oh yeah, that's what the coach is talking about. But it's part of being a good football team, because good football teams, they don't beat themselves with pre-snap penalties and post-snap penalties. You're going to have penalties during the play. You're going to have things that happen because it's a highly competitive game. The interception in the end zone, it was a poor throw. That's all it is. It's a poor throw. If the throw is accurate, it's a touchdown. And certainly that was a big play that the Memphis DB made, but that is one of the plays I was talking about, those are one of the half a dozen plays where, if you make the play there and Memphis doesn't, it changes the game. And probably both those plays do. So that's the stuff that we've got to correct, clean up, and do better.
Coach, when you look at Hennigan, very successful passer, obviously. It looks like he's taken off doing some more in the ground game this year. And I remember last year he would kind of scramble, make some plays. Just how much of a difference does that make when you're trying to defend them?
A lot. I mean, it's challenging. He is their leading rusher as far as yardage gained on the year. And part of that's they're using multiple backs. They're using 3 different running backs, so it's more distributed among the 3. But still, he's their leading rusher yards gained on the year, and that's the example of his mobility. He's a really good quarterback. He was good last year. He's improved this year. 1,500 plus yards passing, completion percentage over 60%, 10 touchdowns, 1 interception. I think he's got, and I think Michael Pratt is one of the better quarterbacks in our conference. I think Seth Hennigan, may have more arm talent, as far as just strength and accuracy and things like that. Just that's from tape. So I just think that I think he's a really good player. I think we're going to be challenged, and I think his mobility adds, another wrinkle to that.
Any other questions?
Do you notice from week to week defenses trying to do similar things that worked against you in previous weeks?
Well, I think we all are copycats to a degree. I think offenses try to, we always try to work things defensively for us that, somebody else might have had success with earlier in the year that we think may come back up. I think a little bit the same way with opposing defenses too. But, you look at the last couple of games, Navy, South Florida, and Tulane, that's 3 completely different schemes that we saw. And so I do think very much they may try to look at a few things that may work here and there, but it still has to fit within what they are schematically.